Good morning, respected teachers, mentors, guests, proud parents, and beloved students. Welcome to the students' individual presentation for Year 9 Culminating Project. Thank you for coming today. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I'm Miss Eki, and I will be your moderator for this session. After going through the journey of middle school for the past 3 years, all Year 9 students will go through a culminating project. This project also is a medium for students to demonstrate their Cikal competencies that have developed throughout the years. They investigated the needs in the community and then proposed an action plan in order to solve the issue. Today, they will present their journey from the past 9 months in doing this project. Before we begin the individual students' presentation, I would like to invite Bu Yanti as the school principal of Sekolah Cikal Serpong to give opening remarks. Bu Yanti, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you, Miss Eki. Good morning, our beloved students, parents, mentor, and teacher. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. If you look at the theme itself, the title, Through Small Action, Everyone Makes an Impact, then this is a picture of the strength of CP9 this year. This can be seen from the variety of projects chosen by Year 9 students. Some students raise the theme of personal concern and experience as a form of their empathy, technology that will help many people to use it, environment awareness as well as a healthy lifestyle campaign, and specific hobbies that can be an inspiration. You can see whether they made it for society or themselves. Either way, by the project, their passion and identity are strongly rooted in each and every one of them. In the process, the why, how they choose the ideas, conducting research and processing them, including all the challenges and finding the right way of execution. Later, we will listen to how they proceed and face their challenge in doing the CP in the today's CP talk session. So, congratulations to all Year 9 students. Keep your patient growth and make it sustainable. You all did amazing job. Also, congrats to all mentor, teacher, and parents. Thank
Okay,
you, Miss
thank you,
Eki.
Bu Yanti. So today we have a few students of Year 9 here that will present their community project. Each student will have a maximum of 8 minutes. And after all the presenters are done, we will open a question and answer session for 15 minutes so the audience can ask the question by that. The audiences are more than welcome to ask questions to the presenters during the Q&A session using chat room. All right, before we begin the individual students presentation, let me give you a picture of what to expect for the next hour to hour. We have a few students of Year 9 here that will present their culminating project. Each student will have, again, maximum 8 minutes, and later the audiences can ask the question. And this year's theme for the project is through small actions, everyone makes an impact. And this theme is aiming to achieve their targeted competencies and dimensions. We see this culminating project as one of the ways to elevate the students' creativity by solving issues that they present in their CP. I think that is enough to briefly explain the concept of the culminating project. Now, let's get on the presentation part. On this first session, we have here today Abyasa Dipawastu, Cielo Abia Nugroho, Zidane Riditya, Agastya Kainandra, and Kynya Arrazzaqu. Now, without any further ado, please give a warm welcome to our first presenter, Abyasa Dipawastu. Time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Eki, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abyasa Dipawastu. You can call me Dipa, and this is going to be my CP presentation. Next. What topic did I choose? Well, the topic that I choose for my CP presentation is trash in the ocean and how does it affect the ocean economy. Why did I choose this topic specifically? Well, I chose this topic because many people still don't care about our oceans. Our sea is such a beautiful place, and it would be very sad if it's contaminated with trash. There are many problems in our ocean, and one of the main problems is trash in the ocean. It's very sad to see if our fish dies because they're mistaking their food with trash and the corals getting destroyed because of plastic. Next. The goal for my CP is to get people to realize that our ocean is contaminated and that we need to do something about it, and if we don't, it's going to be very bad. My sustainable development goal. My sustainable development goal that for my CP is number 6, clean water and sanitation, and life below water. Why clean water and sanitation specifically? Well, we need clean water for our everyday life, and if our ocean is contaminated, our rivers is going to be contaminated as well. And if our river contaminated, the groundwater will be also contaminated. Even if they manage to purify it would not be as clean and as healthy as before. And for life below water, it's because if our ocean is contaminated, it could kill the fish because they mistake plastic for their food. It can destroy their homes. Fish can get stuck on fishing nets and etc. The process of my CP. Well, my CP process started with me planning out what I'm going to do and what I'm going to make. After deciding on what I'm going to do and what I'm going to make, I decided to make a prototype website and made a survey about if people knows how much our ocean is contaminated, and I also asked for feedback for my prototype website. After receiving the result of my survey, I decided to improve my prototype website with the feedback that I got from the survey. After that, I went to a school partner to take action for my CP and also again to ask feedback for my prototype website. And my action that I took on the school partner is giving metal straws so people stop using plastic straws. After I finished with the school partner and get my feedback for my website, I decided to make the full website immediately with the feedback that I got from the school partner and the results that I got from the survey earlier. After that, after finishing my full website, I went to make this CP talk presentation and my CP exhibition. Next. The experts. For my CP, I also interviewed 4 experts. The first 2 experts that I interviewed worked at the same job, which are Pak Rocky and Bu Ochang. Both are a waste management advisor at GIZ 3R Promar. What they do is, with their knowledge about trash in the ocean, they work with the government to prevent more trash entering the ocean. Next. The third expert that I interview is Kancha. Kancha is an organizer at Wahli, which is a campaign that has a goal to prevent trash to enter the ocean, more trash to enter the ocean. And the last person that I interview is Pak Ismail, which worked at a campaign called Greeneration that has 2 simple goals, which is preventing trash entering the ocean and cleaning the beach. Next. The solution for this problem. Well, meanwhile, there are many solutions for this problem. The main solution for this problem that we can do is throw trash at its respectful place, the trash bin, not at the rivers, the ocean, the beach. You can recycle trash to make toys, seeds, pots for plants, and etc. And you can also reduce the use of plastic waste by using metal straws and tote bags. Next. The final product. The product that I made is the website. Why did I make a website? Well, because it's a public place that almost everyone can access with a simple phone and a internet. The things that I include in my website is why do we need to clean our ocean, and why is it important to clean our ocean from trash? Why fun fact about the oceans, and how you can contribute to clean the ocean yourself. You can actually visit my website right here with the scan. Next. There were the challenges that I faced. There were a lot of challenges that I faced making the CP project. One of them was getting the motivation to actually do the CP, because most of the time I was lazy, not wanted to do my CP. Next is time management, because if I'm lazy to and I'm not doing my CP, my time management is going to get messy. And then the last one is getting ideas on what to write for my website, because most of the time my brain just went blank. Next. Reflection. Well, I feel like this was a fun and stressing experience. With the experience that I went through for the CP project, I think it will prepare me for later bigger projects similar to this, like the year 12 CP project. Next. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing your journey, and please give him a virtual round of applause using chat room. Moving on to the next presenter, please welcome Cielo Abia Nugroho. Time is yours, Sisi.
We are all our own people. We all have our own experiences, struggles, insecurities, flaws. It's what makes us human. But that's what the majority, if not all of us, create a mask, something to hide behind, to get others to like us, to inflate our forever growing egos. We want to seem normal, to conform to the standard society has set. But what is normal? It's a question I often ask myself when I'm probably supposed to be paying attention in class. But it's true. Why is it a taboo for someone to be considered different? Next slide. Hello, my name is Cielo Abia Nugroho from Year 9B, and my culminating project is about neurodiversity. Next. Emma Watson, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, Bill Gates, Albert Einstein, Agatha Christie, Leonardo da Vinci, the list goes on and on. All remarkable people with brilliant, remarkable minds, and all who have been found to be on the neurodiverse spectrum. Next. Now, what is neurodiversity? Neurodiversity is when someone's neurological function is different from what's considered normal or typical. It occurs when someone's brain cannot produce or lack a certain chemical. Neurodiversity is often used as an umbrella term for three common disorders: ASD, ADHD, and dyslexia. Though it applies to many other disorders, it is also very important to note that none of these are the fault of the person at hand. My CP is mainly centered around ADHD, as that's what I was diagnosed with. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD is caused by a lack of dopamine in the brain, making it hard to focus and be easily dismotivated. My goal was to spread more awareness about neurodiversity, because mental health here is a topic that's very, very well talked about in Indonesia, And there are many people who treat it like a taboo, and instead of helping the person, they blame the person for not being quote unquote normal. Here, the word sakit jiwa is used as an umbrella term for anyone who's considered differently abled. No matter how severe their case is, they're considered a sick soul. Although I'm extremely privileged to have supportive parents and go to a school that encourages that anyone has a different learning style, not everyone is as lucky as I am. Here, mental health isn't covered by insurance, making it even harder for people to receive the proper facilities they might need. My target audience is mainly teens, but teachers, parents, and adults as well. I really want people to know that just because you're struggling, it doesn't mean that you're alone and all your hard work is acknowledged. Initially, I thought of this topic back in October 2021 when I was first diagnosed. There were so many things that I would learn and my family and I were clueless about. Learning more really encouraged me to want to pursue this topic even more. I started out by reaching out to fellow friends and family members who I knew also had ADHD. And we talked about shared experiences and struggles. And it really helped to know that, you're not alone when in situations such. For my product, I knew I needed something that anyone would be able to relate to. Because let's be realistic here. People don't really care much when it doesn't relate to them or someone they love personally. I thought hard and long about what my product would be, and I decided that I would write a song or 5 songs. I chose this because it's something anyone can relate to, and they can read and feel the emotions and lyrics. Just because I never gone through a breakup doesn't mean I won't be scream crying Taylor Swift music's Alone at like 3 a.m. A song can be interpreted in many different ways, regardless of whether or not the listener resonates with the message the artist is trying to convey. Of course, the forever procrastinator in me didn't manage to write 5 songs and instead only wrote 1. I found it hard to get inspired throughout the entire year, and I would write lyrics and decide I hated them, create funky bass lines and chord progressions, then hated those too, and none of the things I came up with seemed to convey the message I wanted to get across. It wasn't until school break that I finally wrote something that I was happy with, and it only took like 2 hours and a few days to completely produce. The song is called Sick Soul, the literal translation of Sakit Jiwa. It tells the story of a person struggling with their anxiety and feeling as if it's taking over their life. Throughout the song, their anxiety is depicted as a separate person and is conveyed in a way that says that like the anxiety is a person, and the anxiety in the person is involved with in a toxic relationship. The anxiety is something that everyone goes through, especially with the pandemic, and I feel like every neurodiverse person has felt that. And personally, I feel like it's one of the most overlooked aspects of ADHD. And I've struggled a lot in the past with my own anxiety, and it caused me to do a lot of things I'm not happy about. So this song helped me express myself in a way that I couldn't with words. So if you like, next slide. So here's the QR code if you would like to listen to the song on both Spotify and on SoundCloud and YouTube. It's not out on Spotify though. If you were to ask me if I were to be satisfied with my presentation, or no, not my CP or not, I would give like a weird yes or no and no answer. I think it's really hard to be ever satisfied when it comes to like making anything. And I don't consider myself a singer or producer, and it was my first time ever doing any of that. So yeah. One of my biggest struggles when working on my culminating project was procrastination. And this year has been like the lowest point I've ever had. So I think because it's something that's so personally affected me, it made me like really hesitant on working on it and speaking out about it. Now, to bring this presentation full circle, we are all our own people. We all have our own experiences, struggles, insecurities, and flaws, some more than others. But that's what makes us human. And at the end of the day, we are only human. Thank you, everyone. I'm Cielo Nugroho.
Thank you, Cici, for sharing your journey. Although it was difficult, I hope you had fun throughout the process of making your CV. Please give her a virtual round of applause using chat room. Moving on to the next presenter, please welcome Zidane Riditya. Time is yours.
Can I start now? All right. Hello, my name is Al, and thank you, Bu Eki, for introducing me. So this is my CP, right? This is my presentation. Okay. So what I did for my CP is that I made music for meditation. Other than that, my topic is that I wanted to relieve stress using my music, and that was like the whole point of my CP. And this is a bit of a Q&A, but we can save this for later. I just want to ask if anyone does yoga or meditation and such. So next. All right, so this is yoga versus meditation. Um, the difference between yoga and meditation is actually huge. I can't really read, so what I can say is yoga is more different because yoga you tend to do movements more than meditation. You get into a deeper state in your in your mind, and yoga is more of a physical thing. It's for better flexibility, and meditation is more into the mind where you can really focus in the mind. It's like being introspective basically. So yeah. All right, so the issue was that there's a lot of people nowadays that has really high amounts of stress, right? So I wanted to make music that gets you into a more relaxed state rather than you being all stressed with all the work, like for example summatives or such and such, right? Work summatives, CP and all that. So I wanted to make music that can possibly relax you uh, during meditation yoga or not during those times. And my goal was my goal was to help people meditate better and relieve stress from people, but I wanted to add unique synths into maybe nature sounding stuff, and yeah, that was basically the whole goal of the CP. All right, so this is the survey results. It was actually pretty cool. There was actually one. Of the people they had a master's degree and a professor's degree, and I was so proud, and that was like a really cool moment for me. And I wanted to thank my mom. This was all my mom's friends, so shout out to my mom. And yeah, and we can see from the survey results that people really do need music to relieve stress, and music is very important. So yeah. All right, so this is the competencies. I had caring and healthy because caring, I cared about people's mental state, how stressed they can get, and healthy is that, mental health. Healthy is not only physically, but mentally too, right? If you're not mentally healthy, you're not physically healthy, right? I don't know about if you're physically healthy, you can be mentally healthy, but nowadays people just hide their feelings, and that's not good. If you're stressed, just say publicly you're stressed. There's nothing to be afraid about. And research. So I was just on YouTube, like going through nature sounding stuff because it makes me sleep well. And I was like, what if I added synths over these? Like that would be cool. And then that birthed the idea of this CP. All right, next. And this is the planning process. So I started with the idea and the concept. I actually did not wanted to make music for meditation. At first, I wanted to make a cool like R&B thing, and that didn't really work because I figured out I can't sing. So uh, I couldn't do it, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I could find a singer, but then I was like, nah, this is too hard because I don't even like doing R&B, and I was like forcing myself to. So I'm like, I want to do something I like, which is music meditation, right? And then we had the survey. That was a bit of a that was easy. I just had to. I had my mom, and she had a lot of connections, and and all of a sudden I had like 50 responses in one night, and that was really cool. And after that, um, we just have a bunch of planning and all that, and it was a lot of blocks and stuff like that, and it was really really hard for me, but yeah. All right, so taking action, there's actually videos there of uh Tanta Ninda Felina, which is a DJ. Like she's quite big actually. You can go see her Instagram at Ninda Felina. And we have Tanta Cinta, which is my mom's best friend from my old school, and she's really really nice of her because she likes doing yoga a lot and meditation. And of course my own mom, and because she loves meditation, she literally did last night and this morning. So yeah, to my music. So yeah, next. Next. We have a bit of it. Okay, so these are actually snippets. If we have time to play, perhaps just like one snippet, maybe if it works. If it doesn't, then they can listen for it to themselves because I'm gonna release it to SoundCloud. No, okay, it's fine. All right. I can hear a little something. So it's playing just a little bit, 20 seconds or maybe 15 seconds. All right, that's good. All right, so these were the challenges. The main challenges were sound selection. I remember that was hard because I was using a lot of plugins, and the mastering was simple too. But I know a lot of you guys don't really understand the music aspect, so I'm gonna explain it the best I can. And I would say just procrastination. At this point, I think you will find procrastination every single slide in every single student. But procrastination was very hard to overcome. It's not even procrastination. I have to admit it was laziness. I can't, I can't lie. It was laziness, right? And it was just, beat block and all that. And we have the reflection. So how do I feel? I feel satisfied, but I can't fully feel satisfied, because I could have done better than that. And what could I improve? I should have, I could have done like 5 tracks, but it came all the way down to 3 tracks. So I could have made it better and do more. All right. So before I want to say thank you, I want to say thank you to every teacher in this room. I want to say thank you to Parobi, my mom, Tante Cinta, Tante Ninda, all of those. And yeah, thank you. And also thank you to my mom. So yeah, thank you for my CP and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Al, for sharing your journey. Please give him a virtual round of applause using chat room. I will definitely need your sound for my meditation. Moving on to the next presenter, please welcome Agastya Kainandra.
Thank you, Boyaki, for introducing me. Hello, my name is Agar, and today I'll be presenting my. Hello, my name is Aga, and today I'll be presenting my CP presentation. Now moving on to the issue. The issue that I've chosen is trash pollution in the local streets and communities around Jakarta. And the reason that I chose this is because it is important because of the communities that normally get overlooked from cleanups. Normally get overlooked from cleanups and able to clean their communities together to create a cleaner and better environment. My goal is sorry. My goal is to help communities clean their communities together and right. Okay. Uh, my goal my goal is to help communities clean their streets and neighborhoods together with my product, which is an app. The result that I'm expecting is for people to use my app to help clean their communities. Now to my SDG goals, I chose 6, which is clean water and sanitation, and 13, which is climate action. And I chose these because I believe that my app can help improve these goals. Now my technical competencies and dimensions, I chose innovative, action-oriented, and committed. Now for my research. The research that I did was mostly about organizations that specialize in trash pollution, like Trash Hero, and communities that get overlooked from cleanups, and also the process of cleanups to figure out what to do with my app. Now for my interview, I interviewed a representative from Trash Hero Indonesia, and these are some of the key points, like the missions, goals, and challenges. I think we could. Now for my timeline. Starting from September, I first researched about the topic, and then October, I tried to find an interviewer and planned it. On November, I interviewed the expert and started to plan the app. And December through January, I started to make and finish the app. On February, I finally finished the app and also planned to take action with a school partner. On March, I took action with our school partner, which is MTS Sabona. And on April, I started to prepare for CP Talk and exhibition. Now to my product, this is my app. And here in your left, we see a little the menu of my app. And here is a QR code and a link which you can access to use my app. Now, how to use it is very simple. Since the menu only has 2 buttons, submit a report and submit the results. First, what you want to do is find a street or community that needs to be cleaned up, and then you submit it by filling out the information as like taking a picture of the polluted area. And then what you want to do is gather people to help clean up, or you can do it by yourself. It doesn't matter. And and when you finally clean up, what you want to do is take a picture of the before and after results. So you want to take a picture of the street as when it's clean, and then you submit the result, and you put it in, and you fill the information and submit the results. Why I chose an app? The reason I chose an app for my product is because I think that this medium can help engage people and get them to track their progress, which can let them see the positive effect that they have done. To take action, I took action at MTS Sabona, where I presented my app and designed to help people clean their communities and teach them how to use the app and encourage them to use it. These are some of the feedbacks that I got from the students at MTS Sabona. In here, in the top left and right and bottom left, you can see some quotes that are highlighted. The main challenges I had during this time was motivation, and I think I speak for everyone when motivation is a hard thing to do, like procrastination and laziness. And the second challenge I had was getting people to use the app. It was pretty hard because I didn't advertise them as much as I wanted to. And for my reflection, I felt satisfied with my project, but I didn't feel satisfied with the amount of people using my app. While there were things I could have done, I would still be happy with this result. If I had to do this project again, I would try harder to get people to use the app by advertising through schools and social media. And not only that, but I've gained many different skills and experiences, like my app developing skills and getting the chance to share my app to use. And thank you for listening to my presentation.
Thank you all for share. Sorry, thank you Aga for sharing your journey. Please give him a virtual round of applause using chat room. Moving on to the next, probably the last for this session. Please welcome Kynya Arrazzaqu.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Eki, for introducing me. Once again, my name is Kynya, and today I'll be doing my culminating project presentation. So as you can see, right front and center, the first page of my presentation, a very familiar picture, a map of Indonesia. Indonesia has many cultures, from food, dances, infrastructure, clothing, and many more. In Indonesia, there is a specific city called Surabaya. Surabaya is where I grew up in. I lived in this city for almost 11 years of my life. Whilst I was in Surabaya, I've always had a passion for music, and it's always developed, and it's until now I still have this passion for music. And while I was growing up, I listened to a lot of Avril Lavigne, Taylor Swift, the Beatles, and Queens, and everything like that. And when it came to my own, music from Indonesia itself, music from my roots and from where I come from originally, I never really had a broad thought about it or a broad mindset when it came to music from Indonesia itself. In my head and the people surrounding me, we've always had this idea where, Indonesian music consists of dangdut or like gamelan and angklung, because that's what we really thought when we were younger, that Indonesian music only consisted of that. And because of that, I've always thought like, oh, then it's not really important to learn about my culture. It's not really important to learn about Indonesian traditional music, even though I had a passion in music itself. And or people surrounding me thought the same way. We've always thought like, oh yeah, my culture isn't really something that I need to learn, because we're living in a more modern world now, where most of the things that we like and that we learn about is something from more of a Western culture. And because of that, because of the surroundings, the environment I was in, a lot of people surrounding me and me myself, I've always felt like, oh, I don't know much about my culture. I don't know much about where I came from, the culture there, the traditions there. And that comes into my issue, which is cultural disconnection, which is the not knowledge or not having enough knowledge about your own culture, or feeling disconnected from your own culture and roots. So the goals of my project is to create interest towards traditional culture to the younger generation, and to also expand knowledge on traditional music from Indonesia towards a younger audience, and to set roots that was already set decades and decades ago. And this is a little bit of a short timeline or an idea of what I did or the steps that I took. I took on first our research and concepting, and then an expert interview, and also picking the product itself. And moving on, the first step I took was from research was a survey. And the survey I took, thankfully, had the majority audience that I was aiming for, which I said before was the younger audience or the younger generation. And I took on this survey asking questions about whether they knew about their own culture, whether they were interested about traditional Indonesian music and things like that. And most of the people that answered were 13 to 19. And I can learn a lot from the survey, knowing that, people from the generation that I came from or the younger generation feel that they feel disconnected from their own culture, and they relatively feel less exposed to their own culture as well. And they also feel like they're lacking interest in their own culture because they don't know what they're going to learn about. Whilst the older generation or the generation before us, 20 to 25 plus, they feel quite confident with their knowledge of their own culture, and they feel like it should be exposed more to the younger generation. The expert. So, like I said before, I took on an expert, and the expert that I chose was Om Leo. Om Leo is quite a well-known figure in Indonesia. He's a musician, artist, comedian, and many more, and he's very well known for his knowledge on Indonesian music and art itself. He briefly studied at ISI Jogja, an institution of art in Indonesia. And from this interview, I can learn many things. I asked them a few questions, around 10 questions itself, but we really focused on this one question: is why are we so disconnected with our roots of traditional music, specifically in my generation or people around my age and my environment itself? And I rounded up 3 really good answers and concluded that first of all, the first reason towards why this happens to us is because there was a lack of growth of technology in Indonesia, and for music specifically. We were the last country to be able to be introduced to notations and things to be able to write down our creations and our music. And another reason was Indonesia was then exposed to Western culture and music, which that was an amazing development, of course, for our country, but it made people in Indonesia itself have less interest towards Indonesian music and Indonesian culture because they were being introduced to something from a different place and a different culture itself. And lastly, there's always been, a diabolical fight between art and market. And, it's still something that happens today, even though understanding the economic state and everything. But, artists sometimes tend to make things based on the market instead of actually focusing on the art itself. Lastly is the product. So the product itself is I made song covers, but with a twist. And this twist is that I made song covers, modern songs, but I implemented traditional Indonesian musical instruments within them. And these three amazing people, we have Armin, Ayu, and also Parobi, my mentor. These three people helped me curate the instrumentals and to really arrange the concept in the songs itself. And for the songs that I chose these two songs, Traitor from Olivia Rodrigo and Creep from Radiohead. These are very two different songs. There's a variety of genres in them, and they're created in mostly different eras, but they're very mainstream and very popular in my generation and for people in the younger audience. So I chose these songs to be able to engage them towards the topic even more. And in these songs, I were able to pick and curate 3 or around 5 different general musical instruments in Indonesia. We have bonang, suling, gambang, and angklung, and you can really hear them in the arrangement and instrumentals within the songs. And it's out on YouTube. My product is out on YouTube. You can scan the barcode, and you can even listen to the covers. And there's also an Instagram page where you can learn more about, the things that I learned during the interview and the process and everything like that. And lastly is the challenges. Challenges-wise, I feel like, from the people who presented before, we faced many challenges, of course, during this whole culminating project. But I feel like I struggled a lot with time management, because even with just the culminating project already taking up a lot of my time, we had school assignments and we had organizations and everything like that. And, I tried to overcome it by putting up a time for, in the schedule for just doing CP itself, so that I always had time to do CP and finished it. Lastly is inspiration as well. Inspiration wise, I actually struggled a lot with inspiration because I feel like, I really focused on trying to make sure that my project was interesting and that I had attracted a lot of people to try and listen to my covers and everything. So inspiration-wise, I overcame it by listening to Zidane singers and Indonesian traditional music to be able to overcome that challenge. And lastly is a reflection. Reflection-wise, I could say I'm quite satisfied. I wouldn't say I'm 100% quite satisfied because I feel like I could have made more song covers, but within the amount of time I was given and the schedule and everything like that, I felt like, the best I could do was 2 song covers with the quality of being good enough to listen to and had every aspect that I wanted to put in. But even with those exceptions of the satisfaction that I had, I feel very satisfied that I could learn many things about Indonesian culture and traditional music as well, and the history behind it as well. And this is my SDG goal, which is sustainable cities and communities, focusing more on communities because Indonesia itself, we're all one big community as we all, are Indonesian. And I feel like that's one community as well as the younger generation is also one big community as well. And as my reflection stated before, for dimension-wise, I took on action-oriented and innovative because, I had to take action into the issue because making traditional musical instruments and implementing it into modern songs was definitely something that a lot of people haven't done. And I feel like action, I had to really take action toward that. And I had to innovate new things and new ideas to be able to make sure that my project was interesting. So thank you, everyone. And I want to thank you, my mentor, and every teacher in this room as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kynya, for sharing your journey. Please give her a round of applause using the chat room. All right. So with that, I think we have done with all of the presenters presenting their journey, their culminating project journey. So next up, I would like to invite everyone in the audience to ask questions to the presenters, and you can write the questions in the comment section. Let's begin the question and answer. So once again, audiences, please feel free to ask the presenters and write down your questions in the chat room. Okay, maybe I can start asking the question while waiting for the audiences to write down their questions. So I want to ask the presenters, what was your most valuable discovery throughout this project? Who wants to answer first?
Most valuable discovery?
Yes.
Uh, for me, it was mainly that I could make music out of nature. That was cool. You know, I could figure it out. And I think I want to implement that to my future projects, which will be cool. So yeah, that's what I discovered in this project, and it told me to be more versatile. Yeah.
For me, I feel like my most wonderful discovery that I found out was about the history of Indonesian music. I learned many things during the interview with Om Leo, and I was very thankful that I was able to have an interview with him. And I am very happy with the many things that I learned about Indonesian history and traditional music itself.
I think one of the things that I learned that like interests me the most was that just because it seems like you're not like as good as as people paint you to be or something, like you're not good at school, there's a big chance that you have other things you're good at, and that like you shouldn't limit yourself just to like academical praise and stuff like that.
For me, well, I learned that how our world is like actually dying and that we need to do something about it. And actually learned while doing my CP, I actually went curious and decided to learn about more the ocean, not just how it's dying and being polluted, but on the like theory side and the mystery side. And it made me more interested in the ocean than before.
I'd have to say for me is the what I learned the most was the app development skills, and I think that in the future, if I wanted to make more applications or softwares, I could use this experience to my benefit.
All right. Thank you for all the answers. I can see that each and every one of you have different things that you learn throughout your process, and hope you can, use those insightful journey for your future. And with that, I also want to ask another question. How will you use all the things that you have learned throughout your journey in the future?
I think for me, my career, what's it called? I think I could use this experience for later on in my future because I wanted to be a programmer, and I think that this experience can help me, achieve my career a better, easier.
I think for me, other than learning a lot about Indonesian culture and history itself, during making the songs and the covers itself, I made the harmonies and I kind of arranged the song the way that I wanted. And I feel like, that's going to come in handy a lot when I'm making more song covers or I'm producing something in music. I feel like being able to do this project with many people and collaborating with a few people, really I can take in that experience and take it for when I'm doing other projects and everything like that.
I think in the future, or this project helps me learn like not to limit myself, and like go out of my comfort zone a lot, and also like making music, it was a real like learning experience because I'm not really used to doing the entire production part on my own.
For me, I actually can use this as a career interest because the ocean I am interested in the ocean, and I can use it to like for research and to find jobs.
For me, really, it's just I can like I guess release music without like without being scared of people talking about it, and just what's important that you like it because I like it, and sometimes you can take feedback, but if you like it, then like they'll like it. So yeah, all right.
Wow, I can see we have visionaries over here. I hope everything that you learn can be benefited for your future. All right. So I think with that, I want to remind if you guys have any question for everyone in the audience who wants to ask the presenters, please feel free to post your questions in the comment sections. Okay. Let's see. All right. If there is no other question, then I think we are at the end of this session, and it is very delightful to see such impactful and powerful projects of all presenters during these CP presentations. Let's once again give all the presenters today another virtual round of applause and words of encouragement for their achievement. Good job, guys. Well done. All right. I would like to remind you all that this event doesn't stop today. We hope to see you all again after this, and there are another sessions, and there will be also an exhibition with all the year 9 students tomorrow in Teras Kota. So if you have time, you can visit them and see their projects over there. And everyone can still join the live streaming, the CP exhibition on the Sekolah Cikal official YouTube. Lastly, I would like to say thank you one more time to all of the audiences here today, the mentors, fellow students, proud parents, and also respected guests. Thank you for having me as your host. Good morning, and see you in the next exhibition. Thank you.
Disinilah tempat ayah ibuku percaya takkan ada batas untuk mimpiku bergerak, belajar, tumbuh jadi pelita, terangi langkah ceria. Tempat aku membuka mata, mengenal indahnya dunia, melangkah bersama. pribadi bahagia. Ajak hati belajar merdeka.